Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Many blessings and salutations into the hopeful elect, the house of David, the Bayaf Dawadah, for whom these epistles are written for in these last days. Shalom to the elect, and I will always throw up a prayer for those of the hopeful elect. As we come into the Passat, getting ourselves established for the second coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai, Mashiach. There's going to be many different calamities and things of that nature. There's going to be people bugging out, who we never would have thought would be bugging out. There's going to be different doctrines, as the scriptures have outlined. All these things are going on, and the men of the Lord still persist. And not only that, the great multitude still persist, which are made up mainly of women and children, but there are some men in that number as well. So with all these things going on, we're going to stay on our watch, and we're going to continue to bring these things out and until the Lord fold this place up for good. All right, it's going out of sale. They have a going out of business sale right now, but we want this mug to completely be closed. Talking about Babylon the Great. All right, so as you can see on the screen right here, this is why we feel the way. This is just one of the reasons, but there are many reasons. But this is just one of the reasons. Everything we do here is nothing but death. Everything we see, death. Everything we eat, death. Drink, death. Smell, death. Okay, everything we have here set up for us here is not even for us, but set up. Well, I'll take that back. Yes, in some cases, yes. The chemtrails and things of that nature. These are things that are set up for a slow demise. You can't even go drink, something nice or decent to get you straight, from all the stress, and it's got chemicals in that, then, you go to the club and then you see a nice young lady and you just want to lay down, with her and, get your rocks off and feel better about yourself. And that still might be contaminated. You might, wake up with something you didn't come there with. Anyway, so like I was saying, this is yet another reason as to why we got to get the hell out of here. The time is drifting, and it's time to get the hell out of here. It's time to get the hell out of here through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. I'm going to play a video, and I pray that this lesson is edifying. This is crazy. All right, this is from Blacklisted News. It says, study finds 80% of Americans exposed to fertility lowering chemicals in Cheerios, Quaker Oats. You can't even eat Quaker Oats, man. Okay? This is crazy. And the source is from Naveen via the Epoch Times, right? It says, according to the recent study, 4 in 5 Americans tested positive for an agricultural chemical found in several wheat and oat products, including brands like Cheerios and Quaker Oats. It says the peer-reviewed study published in in the Jesse Journal on February 15th looked at urine samples from American citizens to determine their exposure to chloride, a plant growth chemical. Exposure to the chemical can result in lower fertility and harm developing fetuses. All right, even at doses below acceptable levels set by regulators. Researchers detected chlormiquat in 80% of urine samples collected between 2017 and 2023, with a significant increase in concentrations from samples from 2023. Yes, we're being poisoned. Don't act shocked. You're in Babylon the Great, especially if you're an Israelite, especially if you know you're an Israelite. You should never be shocked at this. The fact that the Lord has still sustained us through this is absolutely insane. But we are here in this captivity, and we know where the hell we are. OK, we're not pushing a doctrine of stupidity. We're telling you where you are and what's happening to you. And the remedy for this is Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, right? So this is Ezekiel 4:13. This was a promise and a curse unto us, all right, that would happen, which has happened and is happening in this time. This is Ezekiel 4:13. It's like your 4. Yep. Ezekiel 4 and 12. It says, and it shall eat. It's like, and thou shalt eat it as barley cakes. Okay. And thou shalt bake it with dung that cometh out of man in their sight. That's a curse unto us, man. We're eating tainted Cheerios and tainted Quaker. You can't even eat Quaker oats. We got to get the hell out of here. All right. It says, and the Lord Yahweh said, and the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. And where did he drive us? To captivity for our wickedness, right? We went off. The Heavenly Father judged us accordingly, okay? Because we broke the first covenant, okay? But he gave us a way out, a reprieve, so to speak, right? Which was Yahweh Shai. All right. This is because we understand we've been driven out and we're in captivity. So we're not under any illusion that we're somehow good and that we're good where we are. We're not. We are to act as pilgrims. We're only here for a small amount of time. Baruch 3:8, it says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments. Right. So not only are we eating poison food and poison water and breathing in poison air and sleeping with defiled box, we're paying for it. Ain't that crazy? Everything you're paying for that's poison. Everything that you're getting is poison. You're paying for it. So not only are we eating it and in a slow demise, but we're lining the pockets of Esau as well. Wow. Baruch 3:8, it says, behold, yet we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shah thy power. And that right there lets you know we went off through our forefathers, which we are our forefathers. Scripture says there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, so every spirit that is walking the earth right now, okay, has walked the earth before. All right. All these things that are happening, all right, are all through the spirit. Reincarnation has been set up in a way where nobody gets away with their crimes. I don't care who you are. Even a top Edomite, you don't get away. That's why they be harvesting all these organs. All right, because they're trying to stay alive as long as they can to try to stave off Yahweh Shai. And it's not going to work. They gonna lose. You gonna lose if you chose them, and whoever chose them or wants to be or side with them, you're gonna lose too. All of y'all gonna lose. Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right, his men. All right, led by your King David. Okay, 144,000, which is the new government, and the great multitude which comes after that. They're gonna win. Everybody else loses. Right? That's just the name of the game. So as we sit here in our captivity and eat defiled bread as we're doing, this is a goddamn travesty, man. But we are here. This is where we are. Ezekiel 4:13 again. And the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat the defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I have driven them. That's right. Then said I, O Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shah thy power, behold, my soul have not been polluted, for from my youth up, even till now, have I eaten of that which dieth of itself, or is turned in pieces. Okay, neither came their abominable flesh into my mouth. And so he didn't understand. But see, well, we didn't understand, Slakia. We didn't understand the plight of our situation. Our situation is a very dire one. Okay, if we didn't have a way out in the form of Yahweh Shai, we're done. We're done. It's just simple as that. And stuff like this is gonna continue to pop up in the news, man. Continuing. Okay. This is absolutely insane. Okay. Absolutely insane. Back in the article, it says the chemical was detected in 92% of oat-based. 92%. That's a large. That's hell. 10% would have been a lot, right? Because nobody knows what that 10% is. But 92%. Wow, this is on purpose. Anyway, it says the chemical was detected in 92% of oat-based foods purchased in May 2023, including Quaker Oats and Cheerios, said the Environmental Working Group (EWG), which conducted the study. Out of 25 conventional oat products tested, 23 of the detectable levels of chlormiquat, 1 in 8 organic oat products had the chemical, while 2 in 9 wheat products had low concentrations of chlormiquat. Woo! Boy, quite a conundrum we find ourselves in, right? Okay, quite a conundrum. Let's go to Psalms real quick, because this is where we are right now. We're yet this day in our captivity, eating defiled bread amongst the Gentiles, just like the scripture said would happen. And they say prophecy doesn't matter. This is Psalms 23:4. It says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me." That's right. So everything that we walk with, the land that we're in right now, the mindset that we even have is a spirit of death as a nation. Okay? We don't realize that we are in a spirit of death. But the scripture says death is better than continual sickness, man. And we are continuously being poisoned. To deny it at this point is just to be ignorant, right? Not know. Okay? Let's read it again. This is Psalms 23:4. It says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." This is clearly the shadow of death, right? Death is everywhere we see. It says, "I will fear no evil, for thou art with me." It says, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me, right? It says, "Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over." That's right. That's why we don't fear what these stupid devils have in store. Okay? Their poison, all this stuff it's just not going to work. It's going to work on some, but it ain't going to work on everybody, right? Look at this crazy shit, man. It says researchers collected 96 urine samples, out of which 77 showed the presence of chlormiquat. It says, wow. The numbers suggest that the subjects likely underwent continuous exposure to the chemical, since chlormiquat leaves the body about 24 hours after ingestion. Now, listen, you tell me what that sounds like. How the hell do you continuously eat and they say it's only lasting in your system for 24 hours. How can they continuously find it in your system if you're not being poisoned? See, the devil is doing his job. It's us, the Israelites, who are not. Well, some of us, right? 2/3 of us are not. Or even they're still doing their job. Everybody's doing their job. But the point that I'm making is to fight for a system where you are clearly the one that's the odd one out. Right? I don't understand. Why would you want to fight or want to live in this place continue? I don't see what the appeal here is. Right? This is the valley of the shadow of death. Clearly. Right? Look at this, man. The frequency of the chemical in samples was observed to rise with time. In 2017, 69% of samples had chlormiquat. It says, which jumped to 74% in 2018 through 2022, and then 90% in 2023. So as the times move on, Esau is getting more desperate. He's coming down, and eventually he gonna come down with great wrath. He ain't gonna care no more. Right now, he's just on some other shit. He's doing whatever. All right, this Revelation 12:12, it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time." His time is running short. So now he has to move with a little bit more urgency. All right. He's got to move with a little bit of urgency because the people are waking up talking about the Israelites. And also, he knows that Yahushua is out there. I personally believe he's seen them fathership or something close to it. And he's seen these chariots increasing. And he's like, look, we got to do something. Right. We got to do something. And meanwhile, he is plotting and he's poisoning us, right? This is Isaiah 32:5. It says, the vile person shall no more be called liberal, all right? Nor the churl said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak villainy. How's he doing that? Through what the fuck he's doing in this lesson, right? It says, for the vile person will speak villainy and his heart will work iniquity, poisoning you, okay? It says, and to practice hypocrisy. It says, and to utter error against the Lord Yahweh, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. And that is talking about the philosophy, the doctrine, but also literally in this case, he's causing us, okay, all right, to think that we have some type of solution, which really is your death. That's the solution. This guy's got to be stopped. It's just that simple, man. It's just that simple. If you can't get it, then I don't know what to tell you. Pray to the Lord, right? Let's play the video.
Might want to put that box of Cheerios back on the shelf if you're interested in your health. A staggering 4 out of 5 Americans are being exposed to a dangerous chemical linked to reduced fertility, altered fetal growth, and delayed puberty. Those chemicals are reportedly on a huge number of popular oat-based foods in America, including Cheerios and Quaker Oats. In a study of the chemical chlormequat, sorry if I mispronounced that, published in Nature magazine, the presence of the chemical in urine samples collected from people in the U.S. with detection frequencies of 69, 74, and 90% for samples collected in 2017, 2018 to 2022, and 2023 respectively. Chlormequat was detected at low concentrations in samples from 2017 through 2022, with a significant increase in concentrations for samples from 2023. We also observed high detection frequencies of chlormequat in oat-based foods. So unfortunately, the latest example, Jessica, of our food supply literally being poisoned. We have so much processed food in America now that contains all of these chemicals that they claim are for shelf life stability, for the ability of these foods to be preserved for a longer period of time so they don't go bad as quickly. But it turns out that as we get more science on this topic, that a lot of these chemicals...
Hey, YouTube, fair use, fair use. I just want to say fair use. We are just reading the Bible. We're reading the article, and we're just, talking about daily topics, man, such as salvation. But this is fair use, YouTube, fair use.
Are obviously not good for our bodies, and I don't think it's any coincidence that we've seen a rise in chronic illnesses, in diabetes, obesity throughout our country as our food supply has gotten away from whole foods and more into these types of boxed, prepackaged goods.
Yeah, what happened to, I thought it was Quaker Oats. He's supposed to be a pacifist, and his Cheerios are poisoning us, and they're making us gay, puberty blockers, infertility. I don't know. It is giving Alex Jones making the frogs gay to me, but it seems very real. 80% of Americans have been exposed to this in some way. Are 80% of Americans eating Cheerios? Maybe, but I think it's a huge problem that this chemical's used in ornamental plants, but you can't use it on edible plants in the United States, but it is used in other countries. So a lot of this has to do with our global supply chain being one that relies on the extraction of resources from other countries or exploitation of their labor as well, especially in the case of farming. If we're getting wheat from other countries and using that wheat to make the Cheerios, that seems to me an explanation for why they're in there. I don't think Quaker's just adding it in there for fun, but it's time we examine our global supply chain and have the FDA and the EPA actually do their jobs and make sure our food is safe, there's a reason why people go to Europe. And they're like, I felt great, I had so much energy, I felt so healthy, and then they come back home to the United States, start eating our food, and start to feel bad again. There's poison in the Cheerios, so yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that we don't talk about these global supply chains more. I mean, both from a health and a national security perspective. I remember doing a report a couple of years ago about meatpacking plants in the United States, and there's a huge monopoly, for one, of basically 3 to 5 meatpacking companies that control most of the supply. And one of them is owned by a pair of corrupt Brazilian brothers who have been facing all kinds of indictments and charges related to their corrupt practices. That's JBS out of Brazil. And years ago had been accused of having basically tainted the meat supply and ended up getting a bunch of people sick. So this is the problem that we have when we export our food supply to other countries. We don't have as much control over the process in terms of how that food gets from the growth to processing to actually making it onto store shelves. And in this case, the Brazilian brothers from JBS were basically let off the hook by the U.S. government, and JBS continues to operate a huge share of meatpacking in the United States. And I think we also have to blame the way that we have done our own agricultural policy in the United States, where the way that we've been giving out farm grants and farm aid has encouraged the monopolization of companies, because of course if you're a bigger company you get more money in aid, whereas small and middle of the road farmers end up getting put out to pasture, so to speak, get hung out to dry, where they don't get as much and aren't able to compete with these large monopolistic producers. And so it's significantly more expensive for Americans to get food directly from a source, unless you live in a rural part of the country and you can share a cow with another family, or you live near a farm where you can buy directly from the farmer. You're basically guaranteed to have your food go through a multi-step long process where God knows what kind of chemicals or other poison can be introduced throughout that process.
This is why we say, matter of fact, let's get it again. I mean, why not? This is insane. Okay. Isaiah 32:6, it says, a vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy, right? To utter error against the Lord Yahweh, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the thirst and to cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. The instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh uprightly, man. He don't care. This guy don't give up 2 shits. His thing is, how can I make more money and how fast can they die? Fair use, YouTube. This is educational. This is all educational. Okay, we're just reading the Bible. We're just reading the articles. That's it. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use, right? This is absolutely insane. This is Psalms 23:4 again. It says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. That's right. So that's the only thing we have. All we have is hope. All we have is hope, man. Okay. And that's all we need, honestly. That's all we need, you know. We don't need these people and their atrocious behavior towards life. They have an atrocious opinion of life, man. They want to kill everything. This is Romans 8 and 8:18, it says, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. That's right. So although we're suffering now, but what we're going to come into, the kingdom of heaven, is not going to be compared to what we went through. Because the kingdom of heaven is going to take away all this sickness. Everything that we're dealing with, Salakia, everything that we're dealing with right now currently is temporary. We just got to endure until the end. Okay. Enduring into the end is what Lord is Salaki, what the Lord has said is a part of his requirement, right? This is Mark 16:18. It says, they shall take up serpents, and if they drink at any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. Woo! That's right. Eat or drink, right? It says, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. So then after the Lord Yahweh Shemashah had spoken unto them, he was received up into heaven and sat on the right hand of the Most High. That is what we're looking for. And he's coming back that same way he left. Okay? We got to get the hell out of here, man. Back in this damn study, man. We got to get the hell out of here. Look at this. This is insane. And now the young lady right here that's on the screen, she's going to go into the fact that they have GMO seeds, man. Okay, and that Monsanto uses those to try to take over the farmlands, man. They have the seeds literally blow, but she's going to explain.
Everything about it is really unfortunate. I think it's important to point out that the United States is incredibly lucky in that we have great access to a diverse array of food, probably more than anywhere else in the world. But how much of a benefit is that if the so-called food that we're receiving is actually harming our health?
Yeah, absolutely. I went to trade school for agriculture. I was in the FFA, so talking about agriculture is an issue that's very close to my heart. Once upon a time, I was wearing that blue corduroy jacket, but it was really at the time when corporate farming was on the rise. Monsanto Seed Corporation would have their seeds blow onto a small farmer's land, and because they were patented genetically modified technology, they could sue the farmer for everything they had. Farmers were having to declare bankruptcy because of these lawsuits, because the seeds were simply carried by the wind onto their farm, and it made it seem like they had planted the patented Monsanto seed crops. And it's a bad situation because then, of course, if the farmer's declaring bankruptcy or has to sell their land to pay legal fees to settle the case, then now Monsanto Seed Corporation would end up buying that land. When you have huge food conglomerates, you have a population that's really at risk for famine. Look at what happened when we were short on formula for babies. There were only a handful of companies in the United States that made formula. So when one company had their formula contaminated in some way, it led to a huge shortage. This is something that can cause huge problems if it happens to our agricultural industry when you have mass farming at this scale, but also just a bad way of life for the farmers. A lot of farmers don't even own the livestock that they raise. They're contracted with Cane's Farms here in North Carolina. That's huge. When I live in Iowa, it's the hogs. You had so many small pig farmers, and similarly in North Carolina, a lot of small chicken farmers. And instead, you have this dream sold that how about you just rent the pigs? All you have to do is pay for feed and raise them, but we'll front the cost for the pigs or for the chickens in the case of Cane's Farms. And it's a bad situation because eventually, if you have a loss some year and you're tied to this corporation, you're in debt to them. And that's not a good way to run a farm. The World Bank has done all kinds of studies showing that actually if you own the farm you live on, you not only produce higher quality food, but you have higher yields. So it's a good way of life for the farmer. It also produces better food. We've really got to change a lot about our agricultural industry. But for now, we just have to avoid the Cheerios, I guess.
Yeah, I remember listening to a podcast recently with RFK Jr. where he talked about Monsanto and his lawsuits against them, particularly for some of the chemicals that they were apparently using on their crops that made a lot of people sick, not just on the farms, but in the surrounding neighborhoods. And I know Congress is looking into banning Chinese ownership of farmland in the United States. I think that's a good first step. Smithfield, our largest pork producer, its parent company is actually Chinese owned. So a lot of problems with the food industry that we need to be looking into. That's going to do it for us today on...
Yeah, so there ain't gonna be no fucking Smithfield or no damn Monsanto in the kingdom of heaven, man. That shit gonna be done away with when Babylon the Great is laid to waste via intercontinental ballistic missiles. So with that, I pray that this lesson is edifying. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakah Quadash, Shalom to the elect. And we almost get the fuck out of here. The Poseidon is coming up, brothers. Let's lock in and let's take this. Let's put the foot to the pedal, man. We're gonna get the hell out of here soon, man. Yahweh Shai coming to get us, man. Shalom.